A question that I do have is, can you go into a little bit of detail about, like, this is fabric, so how does that stop a blade from going through it? It sounds like such a ridiculous question because I know that what you guys produce works, but how does it work?
So first of all, I have to say the technology we use for both of those products is the knitting technology.
Yeah.
And the knitting technology has an advantage that we can actually increase the stretchability of it. And then it comes down to the yarns you use to really get this toughness that a blade can actually can't, or you can not 100% stop it at this point, but you can definitely reduce the injury level dramatically. And we use actually on our neck guards, we use Dyneema yarn, which is the same actually we use here. Mm-hmm. But we actually implement glass fiber, which is helping us in even increasing the cut resistance dramatically. Quite unique glass fiber. In the beginning I was also a little bit puzzled because I never really knew that glass fiber really exists and that it helps really
what it is.
To prevent cut injuries. But our tests we made with the manufacturer in Germany showed definitely that this is absolutely the way to go and helps us even increasing the protection.
I think the entire audience kind of knows the AYCANE company for making the neck guards, the wrist guards. How did all of that start? Where did it come from? And also, like, the name, the logo, like how's all of this come about?
Well, when we started the company AYCANE, for us it was very important that the aesthetics are really, really correct. And we tried to find a name which really reflect our DNA and the hockey image. And we started actually with the logo first, and we created a logo with the attack and protect mindset. So the A, which comes actually from the A, is the attack angle. We as a team, we attack, we want to score goals, we want to push forward, so that's actually the attack mentality. And then we take the C, which is more the protect part. We took the C, we put them over the A, which is really, we protect each other, we protect our goalie, we want to protect our goal. And from there actually the name AYCANE got constructed. There is no meaning behind it. It's just our vibe, it's our tribe. So we're really happy that we could register that worldwide, had the URL also to get the website going. So that's how everything started with the name.
That's pretty epic. And also with the base layers, there's so much attention on this type of product at the minute. Where does yours come from? What makes it so different to everything else that's out there? And what's your view on essentially everything that's going on in hockey right now about base layers becoming something that players are required to use in some leagues, and then other leagues it's kind of left to the discretion of the player? What's your stance on all of that?
Well, we started the company in first hand to make the players better on the ice. So we created a material which is temperature regulating. It's not sticking to your skin, and we just had the idea in mind, what can we do to increase the player's performance on the ice. And we found actually a manufacturer in Italy which creates or is able to create amazing materials. It's knitted on the finest machine possible, has a mesh structure. Maybe I can show you that quickly. So it's very thin knitted. If you really stretch it, you see a lot of small little holes. We call them micro holes. Yeah. And this is actually technology that the fabric doesn't stick to your body. In addition, we added a treatment which can regulate your skin temperature by 2 degrees. So it cools down your skin temperature, which reflects actually in less sweating. Actually, to be honest, it's 30% less sweating, which is quite tremendous. So
just from 2 degrees?
Just from 2 degrees skin temperature, we can actually see in laboratory tests that you sweat 30% less.
Jeez.
Which leaves actually your body more energy to really skate on the ice, back check, really score goals. Because if you sweat less, the body doesn't need to produce so much sweat. And that energy you can use again on the ice in performing better. Okay. So that's actually the technology which we build into our base layers, which I always say it's not just another base layer, it's really something new which improves your player's performance.
I remember when we were in the other room, you showed me like different samples of the actual material that the base layer was constructed from. How did you guys land on this particular one?
So I didn't count how many fabrics we tested. So we have really great relationship with our manufacturers in Lithuania. But I think it was more than 20 or even more fabrics we tested. So we had, this is just one example, we tested, it was super lightweight, it was very nice, but we had some issues that it got destroyed quite quickly. We had another one, the green one I showed you before, which was so much cooling that people or players called me and say, listen, I was freezing to death on the ice. So, of course, this is also not what we want. We want to improve the energy, but we don't want that you really feel too cool on the ice. So, really, we did everything possible to master the best material for a hockey player. Without really, taking in the first sense a price in consideration. So we really tested out different yarns, different construction, and we ended up with this material we have here on the table, which is manufactured in Italy, which has all this technology built in. And in my opinion, it is just like the best piece you can really wear on your skin, which is your biggest organ. So you have to really take care about your energy, and therefore a lot of pro players are really liking our items.
For sure. And also I think another important thing that you mentioned there is I've had what I thought at the time were decent base layers before, but when you've paid a lot of money for base layers, one thing that's always happened, and I'm only on the ice actually playing hockey once a week, I'm on the ice multiple times a week filming, but hockey once a week, the materials would break down so quickly. Like, you wash it a few times, there's rips in it, there's, some of the rubber ring is peeling off, and that's something that I've noticed with these where they're lasting. Especially somebody like Tommy who's on the ice 4 or 5 times a week, and he's washing it every single time he gets off, he's had no issues. So it's cool to see that you found a balance between breathability, durability, and comfort, which is unreal.
I mean, in the first sense, we really worked closely with a pro team here, close in Zug. It was clear that those pieces get washed every day, and that means washed normally 4 degrees. They got tumble dried in industrial, big of tumble dries, so the heat is very high. These were requirements which we took in consideration from the beginning, and that's what we told the manufacturer of that fabric, and he came up with a very good solution in getting this balance. It's not too rough and too stiff, but it's not too weak to really last this very tough situations with washing and on the ice with Velcro on your shoulder pads and stuff. So I think we found a really, really good balance between all of those requirements, and the players are super happy.
For sure, definitely. I'm one of them. So with these ones over here, I noticed that it's got the wrist, the /wrist protection integrated into the base layers. This one doesn't have the net protection. Can you tell me a little bit about what this is made of? What makes this so good? And then also the story about how you guys decided to kind of incorporate this into the base layers, both in the wrist and also in the neck area as well.
First of all, I have to say that safety was one of the biggest DNA points in our company when we started. But we also knew that when we launch a product, it has to be different. So we're not here to just copy another brand or do a similar product as some famous base layer brands are doing that already. Mm-hmm. So our goal is always to come up with a different solution which is much better than everybody else. Yeah. So we started actually with the fabric again. So it's really important that we find a very cut resistant material. But in our opinion, that it has to be also super stretchable. Yeah. So we don't buy a very itchy, very stiff material which is uncomfortable to wear, because we always say on the ice you should not really feel the protection. So we found this company based in Germany. They do really special materials. We gave them our requirements. It has to be lightweight, it has to be stretchable, it has to be comfortable. And they actually started knitting different kind of materials, and we tested quite a few of them, Some of them really didn't work out. They were too stiff, too heavy, not nice to wear on the ice. But we ended up with this this fabric here, which is, as you can see, super elastic, super stretchable, very comfortable to wear, and has a cut resistance of cut class 4, which is the European testing standard. We have actually placed them on your wrist area, and of course also on your neck area. The reason why we combined neck and also wrist is because we believe and we know that those two areas are the critical areas which we have to protect, because we all know if you get caught on your neck or on your lower wrist, it can get very dangerous. So we from the beginning we said, okay, we have one version only with the cut resistant material on the wrist, and we have a second version which has actually the neck guard built in as well. And from this perspective, in my opinion, you have the best solution, because we all know it's sometimes hectic in the locker room. You pack your bag quickly, you need to go home, you throw it into your washer. If you have like just the wrist guards, I searched them for quite some time. With that solution, you just have it, put them into the washer, take it out, pack it for the next game or next practice, and you have everything with you you need to be protected.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, because I don't typically lose things, but obviously if you're adding more individual pieces of equipment to your gear bag, then it can be a bit of a headache, especially for younger players. It's easy to come back with one sock or you're missing one wrist guard, but when it's integrated into the base layers, you're essentially taking multiple products and putting them into one, and then you just have to worry about bringing that one. But I think the biggest thing for me with your base layers that have the neck protection built in is the fact that everything I've ever used, whether it's the neck guards that you attach individually, they're so uncomfortable, and you can't, if it's protective, it's stiff and you can't move your neck, you can't look around. And then if it's integrated, it's got Velcro, which just scratches the hell out of the back of your neck. And these are so comfortable. It's more like wearing like a garment or a top that you would be out and about in, not that you would wear on the ice, which I think has been the biggest reason that we've kind of moved over to these base layers and stuck with them since. Can you just shed a bit of light on how you guys managed to come up with a neck guard that's actually comfortable to wear?
First of all, I play hockey by myself, and what I hear from coaches all the time is head up. You know, you need to see where you go.
Yeah.
And the Velcro always annoyed me in the back of my neck when I was young, and even today. So also here, we wanted to create something better than the rest of our competitors, and it was clear from the beginning that we don't want something in the back. So we constructed different kind of solutions around a possible innovation around no Velcro in the back. And we found that actually such a back as we have here with overlapping fabrics is the best, because you can go in very easily, you can stretch it quite hard, get in, and it always closes very nicely around your neck. And it's super lightweight, you don't really feel it. You have a little bit of higher level of protection on the side, because there is actually the most important area to get protected. A little bit lower in the front to really give you this extra movement, head movement. And with this solution, I really have to say, and that's also what a lot of pro players tell us, is it's so comfortable. It's like a turtleneck you wear. And that was our goal. Create something, get the protection, but you don't feel it.
For sure. I think the best protective in hockey is the protective that is actually protecting you, that you don't feel when you're on the ice, because when you don't have to think about your equipment, you can focus on playing and you're still protected, which is the most important thing. So for sure. And I think another big thing that we focused on, if you guys saw the in the bag video when we were discussing, me and myself, Tommy, using these, is this like silicone material along the elbows. Can you tell me a little bit about this? Because I've seen this before in base layers, but not like this. Nothing that actually stops your elbows from sliding down to your wrists. So how did you guys come up with this?
Well, I mean, I was a player who always took the base layer and pulled it over my elbow pad, because I was so annoyed by those elbow pads not staying in place. So when we talked about this new base layer, we said, okay, how can we ensure, or what kind of technology we can find on the market which really keeps those elbow pads in place? So we actually reached out to a lot of silicon suppliers, so silicon application suppliers, and we found one which is really doing a lot of crazy stuff and really durable and heavy and really stickiness of the silicon. We tested them in all different elements, and we had to say that the silicon around your full elbow area is necessary to keep actually the elbow pads in place. In addition, the silicon needs to be very high-end and very sticky, because otherwise it will not help. Just a little piece on the back here doesn't work in our opinion. So therefore, when you really see our base layers, it's around the full elbow area and quite all the way to the front, because we all know we tighten up the elbow pad actually really down here and not around up here, because here you need the flexibility. So therefore we have a lot of silicon in this area, and also here I think it works really well.
That's epic. That's really epic. And with these, I initially thought that you only did the tops, but you also have bottoms as well.
Exactly. Also here with the bottoms, it's the same story. We saw some injuries around the knee area. Sometimes you fall. It can happen that you cut with your skate your left or right knee. And so what we did actually, we took the same material we used for our neck guards. We implemented that around your upper knee area, and you're really well protected there. But of course, in addition, always very important, the protection around your Achilles area. We all know that cuts in that area can happen. We invented that, and we added the protection also in that area. And to be honest, it's a super nice, comfortable pant with some compression areas above your thigh area. It's warming actually to keep your muscles warm. And on the lower end, we have a very, very thin material, because you don't want to have warming materials on your shin area. So also here we try really to bring in all the technology we know to improve the player's performance. So we all know if you sit a little longer than usually, your thigh area has to be warm, that you really can go out and sprint as fast as possible. And therefore we actually used this material in those areas and the lighter one on the shin area.
That's impressive. I'm going to be honest. Like that's when you feel them, you see how much difference there is. Like that's epic. It's surprising when you actually sit down and look at it and talk about it, how much technology and designing has gone into making base layers. I think that's the problem is when you look at it online, you just see base layers with like, oh, they've got protection on the neck and the wrists, but you don't know the story behind it or what makes them so many levels ahead of everything else that's out there. But it's why I love insight like this as well.
You know, it's when you follow your channel, I mean, you can talk hours or days about skates and sticks, how much technology goes into those products. And we take the same approach as those brands creating those skates. We do everything possible to create a unique product which really improves your performance. And there are some really great new technologies out there. And we're really blessed and also very happy that we can really create those nice products.
No, that's epic. I think we were discussing this earlier off camera, where we said, when you look at the last 10, 15 years, 20 years in hockey, if you see how the protective equipment, especially like skates and sticks, how that development has changed, and then you look at base layers and also the protection for slash protection on the ice, and no one's really doing anything significant to improve the technology that's incorporated into those fabrics, except you guys.
You know, that's our passion. I mean, I'm in this industry for more than 20 years. Textile, I grew up with that. Even my father was in that business. And there are so many new technologies out there which we can actually use to really improve the player's performance. And I saw just like a huge opportunity in that field of base layers and training active wear in hockey.
Yeah.
Because there were the brands out there, they do fantastic jobs in skates and sticks, but the text layer was always left aside a little bit. And that was our motivation to start AYCANE and really prove what is possible in that field.
That's epic, man. It's epic. And aside from these, what other products do you do that you think would be like a great sort of accompaniment to these?
So what we of course do is cut resistant wrist guards or slash guards as you all call it. So we use the same material as we use on the pants and on the neck guards. It's highly cut resistant, it's cut class 4, same as on the neck guards. It's super easy to get in and out, and very important to protect your wrist areas. And with those kind of products, you definitely can do so. And they work really well and super comfortable and also very stretchable. So we have all this DNA or attributes in those products, which we have also on the other products. But I would like to show you just a sneak peek, Chris. We work on a new wrist protector, which we call Blade X. This one is knitted, even more stretchable, even more lighter also, and has the same protection as the one you just wear now. And in my opinion, looks also very, very nice. So
it's a change in color as well.
Exactly. So this one is coming up soon. Will be available soon in our store, and gives you really a nice protection around your wrist, and it's super lightweight, super stretchable. Try that one.
Jeez, this feels like you can clearly feel it's a different material. This is almost like a handkerchief.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it feels like it's. You wouldn't expect something like this to be able to protect you. It's way more comfortable. Oh my god.
It's much more easier to get in and out.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think the wearer's comfort is quite a little bit higher here than on this one's, and the protection is the same. We have a very special inside layer which is moisture wicking, gives you a very nice comfy feel, but you still have the comfort, the cut protection around the wrist. So I can't wait to really launch those guys. They will be soon available in our store.
That is epic.
Then going forward actually to socks. Socks is actually a category which we had already since the beginning, and also here we didn't want to create just a product which is already available. Mm-hmm. So we went out, I reached out to a good friend of mine. He has quite a big factory in Italy as well. He creates one of the best ski socks, and I talked to him and said, hey, we need to create the best hockey socks. And he said, well, I have some experience in that. And we gave him all the specs what I believe is needed to create the best skate sock. So we started actually from bottom up. We created a very light foot area, because I strongly believe that as thin as possible the sock is, the closer you can go to your skate, the less pressure points you also have, the less actually the foot gets hot and sweaty, mm-hmm. Which will result in less cold feet. A lot of people don't know that, but if you have a very thick sock, your feet gonna sweat. Sweat is not nice, and the cold will catch it, and then you have cold feet. So we keep it quite light in that area. We have some cushioning, a little bit the thicker yarn used actually in the toe area, and a more thicker yarn here on the back area. But then what is really interesting is here on the white spots, Chris, because here we use a hollow core yarn, which means the yarn has a hole inside, which gives you more cushioning effect. Especially outside of your feet, you have some pressure points. We all know that this is a critical area, so we give an extra cushioning in that area. And we have a very special, unique kind of design here, which actually works like a chimney, so the heat and also the moistures really get pushed out, which results in a very nice foot climate when it comes down to warmth and the feel. So
there's a lot of technology in there.
It's what I mentioned already with the base layers. We're not just creating another product, and try to get some sales. Our passion is to create something unique where we can talk about and really give it out to players, and hopefully get a lot of great reviews on it, but it really, really works. And maybe continue on that one. The white part is actually a Dyneema yarn. It's cut resistant, so that means we have cut class 3 here. So you have a nice cut resistant protection around your upper forefoot and in this area. We have some special knitting construction for ventilation. And what makes this sock quite unique is the inside, because as you can see, there is an inside blue layer. And what we did is actually that the Nima yarn is not very good in moisture wicking. It stays wet, so the feeling will be not that nice.
Yeah.
So we needed like a second layer into the sock, which is a yarn composition, which really helps you in bringing out the moisture, keeping you super comfortable. So you have a protective skate sock, which gives you all the protection, but in addition, you have the comfiness of a normal skate sock. So that means when I talk to players, I always say, hey, you can have actually a protective skate sock which feels like a normal one, so there is no reason why you should not really use it.
That's epic.
So that's really, in my opinion, I'm quite a little proud about that product, and we see a lot of great feedbacks around it, and we like it.
That's epic.
So in our opinion, cut-resistant base layers are extremely important for the future, especially what we actually brought to the market is a base layer with cut resistancy, which you really don't feel. In my opinion, with all the discussions we have now after the strategies happening in the UK, we feel that you can get protected and you don't really feel it. So in our opinion, it's important that every player out there protect themselves and really use the innovation we have on hand these days. And to be honest, I mean, this is just the start. I mean, we have some great new ideas in our heads or already on our tables, and I'm absolutely keen in showing you that, but maybe after we shut down the camera.
No, that sounds good. That sounds good. And I promise, as always, I'm not going to leak anything. I won't share anything. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I'm going to have to show you is going to be pixelated, but I'm sure when we're able to announce it and tease a little bit of it, I'm sure you guys will hopefully give us permission to be able to do that.
Absolutely, promise you will be the first one.
Fantastic. I really appreciate that. But thank you for the insight. I really appreciate that. As always, all of the products that you've mentioned or that have been mentioned in this video will be down below in the video description, because I know that there is an insane level of demand for what you guys manufacture. We keep getting hit up because people are like, how do you have some? And it's sold out everywhere. And it's not because you gave us special credit, or it's because we've actually had them for a very long time. We just didn't post a video on them. We were still testing them. We were still using them, getting familiar with them. So we've had them for a while. That's why we've got them. But they are, when can you say that stuff's coming in?
So, well, first of all, I have to say that we had quite some product, but we just got overrun because of the happening. But we do everything possible to get them back on stock quite quickly. I can say that we get quite a good shipment in January. So January, early February, we got to be able to ship again. So get
awesome.
that.
Fantastic. Links will be down below in the video description. And of course, there's another video where we're going to be looking at the other products that AYCANE manufacture, and I'm pretty excited to show you those as well. So I'll link that video up above and also down below. But as always, I really appreciate your time, man. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing a lot more about what you guys are going to be creating.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Yeah,
it was really nice to have you with us.
Thank you, man. Thank you, dude.